Welcome to Barbell Brigade. I'm Gio.
I'm Omar.
And I'm Lou.
Why and?
I know.
And's at the end. It's comma, and
comma,
silent mic.
Omar,
Come over.
He basically says he doesn't care about you, and neither does
Yeah, it's the
David.
three of us now.
All right, Lou, Omar, I have a question for you guys.
Yeah, what's up?
So I know you guys are the massage kings, well, specifically you.
This guy right here.
Do massages really make a difference?
In terms of recovery?
Yeah. In terms of recovery, in terms of training, just in general.
Well,
Let the experts.
I think we have
these
to
hands,
talk in the metaphysical sense.
these hands are magical that you have, Lou. How about you start?
I mean, as far as like performance-wise, you know, your tissue is gonna get really tight. I mean, it's just like maintenance for a car, you know. Like it's really good to. It's also very good just to kind of relax. Your tissue's gonna get tight in general. Let me just break it down.
You're about to get fucked up.
Let me start over.
What I think, translation.
All right, if you want to know about it, a lot of times when it comes to tightness, it's neurological, which means that really like your body seizes up because you've trained that area.
There's
too
bad
much.
motor patterns that you've developed.
And your body's kind of trying to protect that area. So let's say you like train.
I'm tight
squat
in
a
this
lot.
area.
Yeah,
How do I fix
time. Too much frequency. And so what happens is, let's say like you squat a lot, you whatever, you deadlift, and you just find a particular area gets tight, right? That once again, it's a neurological connection where your body's thinking like, oh damn, like this is being overworked. It's gonna purposely make it tight. So when we do stuff like self-myofascial release, when we do foam rolling, or like a massage or whatnot,
We do self what?
myofascial release.
It sounds
I-
dirty.
I
That's
know-
dirty, but it's not.
I know
Self-myofascial.
exactly what it is, but because he speaks so fast, I'm not sure if they caught it. But thank you everyone on the couch.
We synchronize that shit.
That was actually
Beautiful.
But that is, a massage is essentially trying to get some of that tight, like adhesive, the tissue
Scar
you've built,
tissue.
that you've built up that you feel like loosen up again. There are other ways of doing it when individuals they have found. When they're stressed out and whatnot, you're just tighter overall. When you're like, say, when you're aching, when you're tired. Why do you think a lot of people when they injure themselves, it's when they are tired, stressed out, a bunch of things. It's not because like they're left, like they weren't thinking about it, like oh my form was off. It's like literally just their whole body's a little bit more banged up. Right, and that's why sometimes when it comes to like back problems, is that you'll feel your back will be a little achy because your body's kind of giving it a signal like to be careful when it comes to lifting, right? So you feel it, you're always aware of it, and I think when it comes to massages, they can be effective. I think overall maintenance on your body is the most important thing, and something to understand too is where you feel something might not be where the real issue is, right? So
I
like
think a lot of people don't know that.
yeah, like SI issues, like so glute med actually might be causing it. You feel it in your back, but it's actually your tight ass. It's like inhibiting, like your back's like this, hips like this, and like when your back moves, then your hip also moves, so it gets just overworked. A variety of things like front shoulder pain.
Just how you sleep too.
Oh yeah, when you're like your massage therapist might be like, oh I feel tight there, and they'll work that area. Well, actually, it might be your scap. Like it might be the back of the shoulder instead. So I think it depends upon the quality of the individual, right? What you're trying to do and what type of massage we're talking about, obviously.
Yeah, I think there's two routes. Like, yes, it can help many and does help many physically with the tissues and everything else, like a full body massage or deep tissue or ART. But even like Lou mentioned before he cracked up about the mental aspect, just relaxing more will help that stress. But I do think that if you can afford it and it's part of what you're doing and you're serious, you're doing yourself a disservice if you're not trying to do anything possible to fix yourself.
Yeah, for recovery.
So whether it's stim, stretching, I take baths and listen to Boys to Men a lot just to help my mental state.
Hot shower baths, or what do you take?
No, Epsom salt.
Epsom salt bath with Boys to Men though. I mean,
I don't know if Epsom salt works.
I don't either, but Boys to Men makes me feel great. Makes me feel alive. Makes me feel like I want it.
Soul. Yeah.
So
Someone needs me.
How often should you be, because you guys are saying you highly recommend it, how often should you take that break? How often should you get a massage? When should you be soaking in these like?
So I think it depends on how hard you train.
As needed when you're pushing it. Yeah.
And if if you're not doing them right now and you hop into getting massage 3 times a week, it'll probably jack you up more than it'll help you. Right? It's just like training frequency.
Yeah.
Like
day after, actually, Mike, you feel sometimes tighter after being treated, so you have to manage that.
powerlifting and especially, but some weightlifting, bodybuilding, our bodies are getting tight for a reason. Your hips and hamstrings are tight because they're carrying a load to a very, crazy range of motion. And so like some of that tightness, mobility, all that is specific to what we are doing. A weightlifter needs to get their ass on their calves because they need to catch up here. See, I can't even do that. But they need to catch it over here. But a power lifter, like I know I hit depth when my hips tighten up. You know, that's kind of part of it. So you don't want to get too loose either.
Yeah, I think people don't realize that with like a lot of the myofascial release and the ART that you're breaking a lot of tissue up, and it's not necessarily good to be extra loose for a lot of these movements. Tightness is actually really good, and kind of like Omar was saying, it's a lot of these issues are more like mechanical and just how you're moving.
That's coming from the foam roll king.
Yeah.
Foam roll master.
He wasn't the king at all of any sort of
I used to be
stretching
really
or
against
anything.
foam rolling, and I'm not saying I do it because it feels good. It makes me feel better.
Get in the mood to like lift, like things loosen up.
I like the feeling of being a little loose. My body's always tight, and I don't think. I think that the best thing that I've done is just like trying to improve my mechanics and just like move more efficiently.
Nice.
What about you?
What about you?
I've done like ART. I've done the foam rolling. I've done like the band stretches. When it also depends on like my training style. Like I when I was training a lot more frequently and a lot more volume, I would work out Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And then over the weekend, I would do the soaking bath. Because I'm like training super heavy, I didn't want to be like extra loose like you guys are saying, because that tightness is what definitely would help me. But yeah, everything you guys are saying is the same thing I would do.
Yeah, do you think ART and some of the stuff Omar mentioned earlier might be more for like acute injuries?
Yeah, and
right? Like you don't
use as needed.
You don't, but a massage, just a massage, maybe you could do regularly.
Especially if it has a happy ending, could be good.
Never had one of those.
Depends on the right. It depends on the rate. Depends on.
Hopefully it's not a sad ending.
One thing.
We're in America. We don't do that down
Whoa!
here.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, maybe you guys gotta catch up. I was gonna say though, you can't neglect also and keep in mind sleep. Once again, just for recovery overall. Like it is, like people try and always skirt around the issue. Well, I only get 5 hours of sleep, but I do this. What supplement can I take? I'm like, well, bro, like you're fucked from the start.
It's the
sleep,
cheapest and best way to kind of recover.
Yeah.
Sleep is not free. Time is money. Money is time.
I think that's been like the biggest factor in my training is just like lack of sleep. You know, like
too many video games.
And once you get sleep, and once you get sleep, like you find,
But it's also as a result of stress. You know, like it's hard to sleep because of stress, and again, just like all that massaging is gonna help you relax and kind of just like feel better and everything. And I think that's gonna help you sleep better.
I've watched every single Life of Lou episode, and I didn't see you sleep in any of them.
So you don't sleep.
So like,
why don't you vlog that, bro?
Yeah, why are you talking all this about sleep? You're a hypocrite. You probably don't even sleep.
I don't want people to be like me.
You're a vampire.
I want them to sleep.
When training for a competition, are there any other activities that you guys do?
What competition? Ping pong? Golf?
Well, I mean, because everyone knows us as lifters. Well, maybe they know you guys as lifters.
I'm an artist.
They know me.
He's an artist. The artist formerly known as
a powerlifter. So when you're training for a meet, for example, are there any other physical activities that you do?
Like Lou just competed. Hit us.
Hiking.
You killed it.
During prep?
Because you like to, Lou, or because you like, or you think because it helps?
I actually did it only because I wanted to eat more.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so I was able to increase my macros like that.
Okay.
How often would you hike?
Maybe like once a week.
And then how close to your meet were you hiking?
Maybe like 2 weeks before.
Dang.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Bear Grylls over here.
Yeah, but I wasn't anything crazy. It was like really flat. I wasn't like
Because when I think hiking, I always think like steep,
Was it walking? Was it like...
Yeah, well, you joined your grandma's walk
No,
club?
it was
What
at
did
the
you do?
Observatory.
Okay. Oh yeah,
that's
nice.
cool.
There.
That's not like Rennian. That place is crazy.
Yeah.
Do you guys advise against?
So I think it depends on where you are in your training.
Yeah.
So basically, we talk about like SPP and GPP. GPP is general physical preparedness, how generally fit you are, and that is a scale on what your competition is. So in powerlifting, generally GPP is very low.
Yeah.
You need to be able to.
You need to do a variety of things.
Yeah.
You need to do one thing, lift a lot.
You need to be fit enough to recover from your workout and not get injured and not be sore forever. GPP for something like soccer, really high. You need to jog for an hour, sprint in between, and then also move laterally very well, as well, be flexible and strong, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So I'll do a lot of GPP. My general training is just GPP, and then 8 to 12 weeks, maybe 16 weeks into a meet, it's basically just squat, bench, dead.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
Specificity. I think when it comes to powerlifting, that's absolutely true. Other sports though, like when it comes to weightlifting, what I've heard is that definitely you have to be very specific. You're doing the movements, snatch, clean, jerk, variations of that, but also you have to work on the mobility as well as the you need agility, mobility, kind of like explosiveness, right? So like power also too. So like some stuff like I've seen athletes like do like jump drills and like things like that, work on like patterning, things outside of just like strict weightlifting to try and prepare for that. But that's complementary. Basically, I think we're all agreeing on the same thing. Whatever you do outside of your competition or whatever your goal is has to be complementary. It can't be something that, if you want to be like an endurance runner at the same time as trying to prepare for powerlifting, that doesn't make sense, right? Because you're spending too many calories, you're going to be too fatigued to do your training routine.
And what people will bring up is guys like Alex Viata who ran like a 5:30 mile or something. I don't know what it is.
Really
Don't
good
quote
time.
me. And he squatted like 700.
Yeah.
The argument.
He's a freak though.
Well, and the argument then is if he stopped all this endurance training, would he not squat more?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Right?
that's a good
That's
one.
the argument. The argument isn't could you be decent at both things?
Yeah.
He's a freak, so
Yeah.
he's good at both things.
Yeah.
But would he be better if he was more specific? And I would have to argue yes.
Yeah.
And then within weightlifting even, and probably bodybuilding, I don't know that much about it, but powerlifting is there's kind of two camps where one does believe more in specificity. And then also in weightlifting, Westside Conjugate actually is a mix of a weightlifting program where you train exercise variation and weakness training, pinpoint training to lift everything around that lift, get stronger at everything around that lift so that lift goes up. So you front squat, you box squat, you Anderson squat to get better at the back squat. And weightlifting, that would be 3-position pull or whatever, blocks and deficits and some shit like that.
But it's also about like the types of muscle fibers they're trying to recruit, because a lot of these people who are doing like Conjugate are also trying to recruit more fast twitch muscle fibers with the resistance, And I think that that's, like you said, is usually the controversy. Is like, does this really work or does it not?
Well, I was going to say, just to add to that, the timing is the most important factor when we talk about specificity, how far out you are.
Absolutely.
The weightlifting champion that is going to be, he already is one of the greatest of all time, but Ilya Ilyin, if you look at his actual training routine, reportedly what he does, it's super general before outside of his competition, like a year out or 2 years out. Then he gets gradually more specific. But we do see this as a general trend with individuals that have played like a sport before, or they do like other activities outside of the gym where they just have better coordination. They take it up easier. Like when it comes to weightlifting, I know a lot of gymnasts tend to excel because they're flexible. They're used to doing like some explosive movements and whatnot. So
bodyweight strength.
Yeah, so it's complementary, right? So it's all about the balance between what you're doing and if it relates to your goal and how far away you are from that competition.
And maybe how serious you are about that goal. If you're just doing a powerlifting meet because you want to do a powerlifting meet, you think we're cool and you want to be like,
Sorry for you.
Good luck.
Change
Look at your
Change your life.
Look at your life. 2, watch Life of Lou. 3,
we are going to try and give a Life of Lou shout out to every single.
3, then it's okay. Like if you like to jog or you're in a dodgeball club or you play softball every weekend with your buddies, like do that in powerlift. Like it's not gonna be a big deal. But if you're trying to be the absolute best, you probably have to kick it. I train a lot of people.
Now with like complementary movements, right, or activities, does it matter? Like, does the gender matter at all?
I would say no. If it does, I say it's very slight. In favor of women. Women tend to have a little bit higher work capacity than us.
Absolutely.
In terms of basic sense, 90% bench. Maybe we could do for a triple, a double, and a 4, and they might be doing like 5x5 or something.
They're also, I don't want to quote the exact paper, but I knew it came out in the last, few years.
Nerdy.
But in terms of recovery, they can also recover faster. So there's a higher frequency.
So we were.
It's all the steroids, the girls.
It's all steroids.
And
All the
hard.
women are not.
Yeah, true that, player.
Yeah.
Life of Lou.
Hashtag Life of Lou.
Well, what about you two? Because we know he hikes. Is there any other activities that you guys
Absolutely
do?
nothing.
Nothing. You play basketball. What are you talking about?
Not in 3 years. Not when not since I wanted to squat 600. I kind of 600 squat, 700 pound deadlift have kind of been in my head. And
It will happen, people.
it's happening in June. If you guys want to pay
617.
attention.
Watch it live.
617.
Yeah, 617 or 622.
617, 401.
Yeah, and probably 699.9. But
Not quite 700.
yeah, maybe 705. We'll see what the day's like. But as soon as I kind of had those goals more serious in my head, I was playing basketball pretty competitive, and I just couldn't do both at an optimal level. So I had to stop.
And then for you, I know you Power Ranger a lot.
The Power Ranger. I just dress
You
up
morph
in it,
a lot.
I just like to chill out, get in touch with myself. Text Mike. He's wearing his Power Ranger outfit when we text.
I do think there's levels of stuff though. Like you could probably do yoga and probably be fine, rather than doing basketball. Basketball is just hard on your knees. It's hard on your lungs.
Just like he was saying,
Calorie
it has to
expenditure.
complement whatever it is that you're doing.
Yeah, hiking is probably a great option compared to playing tackle football on
Or
the weekend.
running or like.
Yeah. The running.
This is great.
The running man. Uh-oh, I knew it was coming. Oh, look at that jiggle. There's a lot of jiggle going on there.
That fanny pack is
That is the
fucking
smoothest
crazy.
230-pound man I've seen. That's how the
He's so
stomach like.
fluid. All right,
That was
guys.
that six-pack.
The mobile hip system.
I hope we were able to give you guys some insight on that question. If you guys have any burning questions or desires, go ahead, write in the comment below, like the video, share it with your friends. Until next time.
Peace.
Show him. Get him.
Oh! You've been running.
All right, but a completely different topic right now is how do you guys control